have you ever stopped to truly consider the bedrock beneath America's system of government?
We talk about democracy, rights, the rule of law.
Right. But where did those profound ideas really begin? How far back do they actually stretch?
And why do they still resonate so strongly today? It's a fascinating question.
Well, our mission for this deep dive is exactly that.
Yeah.
To journey back, analyzing the influences of ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and the Judeo-Christian tradition on America's constitutional republic.
Yeah, we've been looking at a pretty comprehensive civics benchmark that lays out these connections with, well, surprising clarity, takes us from the basic ideas right through to how they all interact.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's discover those ancient echoes shaping our modern world.
And what's truly fascinating here, what the source material really details, isn't just that these ancient traditions influenced America,
Right.
but how specific, tangible principles were, adapted, refined, and put together.
Synthesized.
Exactly. By the end of this, you won't just know that America was influenced. Hopefully, you'll understand the intricate lineage of its foundational ideas.
Giving you a much richer perspective on the historical and philosophical roots of the nation's government.
Precisely.
So, okay, let's ground ourselves first. We often call America a constitutional republic. For an informed listener like you, that means balancing majority rule with minority rights.
Operating through elected representatives.
And constitutionally limited powers. But how did this unique blend of popular sovereignty, limited government, individual rights, how did it actually come about?
What are the key principles holding it up?
Yeah.
That's the perfect launch pad. As our benchmark source explains, America's constitutional republic is fundamentally a system designed to prevent power from concentrating too much in one place.
Right. Balancing effective governance with protecting liberty.
And its structure, as we know, involved those distinct branches, legislative, executive, judicial,
Each with defined powers, defined responsibilities.
all operating under the supreme law of a written constitution. And key principles like popular sovereignty, the idea that the people are the ultimate source of authority.
And the rule of law, that's huge too.
Absolutely. Ensuring everyone, even those in power, is accountable. And critically, it prioritizes protecting individual rights.
So this framework, it's not an accident. It's deliberately constructed from, well, millennia of political thought.
Exactly.
Okay, so our first stop on this grand historical tour takes us way back to ancient Greece. This is where the very concept of the people governing themselves first really took shape, didn't it?
It did, dramatically so.
But when we talk about democracy in ancient Greece, particularly Athens, we're talking about something quite different from our modern understanding.
Oh, very different.
So what was the significance of the polis in all this?
The polis, the city-state, was really the crucible for these early democratic experiments. You have to imagine a self-governing community, often quite small,
Right.
where the ideal of direct democracy could actually function, at least in theory.
So in Athens, for instance.
In Athens, citizens participated directly in making decisions through legislative bodies like the assembly.
And this wasn't just a right, it was more like a duty.
A civic duty, absolutely. Active civic participation was paramount. Citizens were expected to debate issues, vote on laws, even serve on juries. It was core to their identity.
But, and this is a big but, the definition of citizen and who had voting rights was incredibly narrow by our standards today.
Extremely narrow. Typically, we're talking adult male landowners. Women, enslaved people, foreign residents, they were all excluded.
So despite those huge limitations.
Yes. Despite those limitations, what the Greeks pioneered was the idea that a community could govern itself through debate and popular will.
And sometimes formalizing that through early forms of written constitutions.
In some cases, yes. They showed the world the sheer power of citizens getting directly involved in making their own laws.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. How did those Greek concepts, born in these tiny city-states with such different social structures, how did they actually make the leap across millennia to shape our much larger, more diverse nation?
That's the fascinating part, the translation.
Yeah, how did that happen? What insights did the American framers really pull from the Greek experience?
Well, it really speaks to the enduring power of these ideas. The American framers, they were deeply read in classical history. They didn't just, echo Greek democratic principles. They critically analyzed them.
So they saw the good and the bad.
Exactly. They saw the power of civic participation and legislative debate, but they also saw the inherent limitations, the potential dangers of pure direct democracy in a vast, diverse country.
So the insight wasn't to copy, but to adapt.
Precisely. To adapt, take our legislative bodies, the House and Senate. They directly reflect the Greek innovation of an assembly where laws are debated and passed, but instead of direct participation by all eligible citizens, which would be impossible. We have representative democracy. Citizens elect individuals to speak and vote for them. That was a crucial adaptation, allowing the spirit of Greek self-governance to work on a much larger scale.
And the written constitution idea.
That too. The Greek concept, even if less comprehensive than ours, laid vital groundwork. The idea of a supreme law defining and limiting government power. It was an early blueprint for ordered liberty.
So it sounds like the framers took the sort of raw energy of Greek democratic thought.
Yes.
And then engineered a system that could actually sustain it on a much grander scale, learning from both the successes and the failures of the polis.
That's a great way to put it.
Can you see those echoes in our own system today? How we try to foster participation, but also manage the complexities of a huge republic? It's not a perfect match, obviously.
Yeah. No, not perfect, but the lineage is undeniable. The contrast between Greece's direct democracy and America's representative democracy, it highlights an evolution, not a rejection.
Okay.
The core principle of citizen involvement, of structured debate in legislative bodies that remains a shared ideal.
And the expansion of voting rights.
Well, yes, the expansion from that very narrow segment in Greece to a much broader electorate in America, imperfect as that journey has been, it shows a continuity of the concept. The application matured, became more inclusive over time, but the lessons about deliberation, even through representatives, those are clearly Greek.
Right, so having seen Greece ignite that spark of citizen rule, it's fascinating to then watch Rome take that flame and build something else entirely, the Republic.
A very different structure.
Yeah, let's move forward in time from the philosophical city-states of Greece to ancient Rome. It offered a different but maybe equally powerful blueprint for governance. Here we get into republicanism and a really sophisticated representative government.
Indeed. Ancient Rome, especially during its Republican period, didn't just borrow from the Greeks, it innovated quite spectacularly.
How so?
Roman republicanism emphasized things like civic virtue, public service, and the really groundbreaking idea that the state exists for the good of the people, the res publica, the public thing.
That sounds like a significant shift.
It was. And instead of direct democracy, Rome really perfected the model of representative government. Citizens elected officials to represent their interests in bodies like the Senate.
And the rule of law. We mentioned that earlier.
Yes, a monumental achievement of Rome was its commitment to the rule of law. Not just having laws, but having a codified, impersonal legal system.
Meaning the laws applied equally to everyone.
Supposedly, yes, powerful or not. It brought order and predictability to a vast empire, revolutionary for its time, and obviously a cornerstone for future legal systems.
And they also developed separation of powers.
A sophisticated system, yes, distributing authority among different parts of government consuls, the Senate, various assemblies.
And this wasn't just dividing up jobs.
No, it was designed specifically to prevent any single entity from becoming too powerful. It created this dynamic interplay of responsibilities and checks.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture,
you can see how Rome refined some Greek ideas, but also introduced others that became absolutely critical for future republics, including America's.
that's a brilliant distinction. It really sounds like Rome took the seed of structured governance from Greece and grew it into something far more complex, more interlocking.
You could say that.
You mentioned separation of powers, preventing tyranny. Can you maybe give us an analogy? Clarify how those Roman ideas of checks and balances really fed into the American model.
Sure. Think of it maybe like a finely tuned machine. It has multiple gears working together in sync,
Okay.
but they're also designed so they can disengage each other if one starts spinning too fast, out of control.
Like that.
In Rome, you had consuls who could veto the Senate could refuse funds, assemblies could pass laws, but those laws could be challenged. This dynamic, where different parts of the government could limit each other's power.
That directly influenced the American framers.
Absolutely. It directly influenced their design of our executive, legislative, and judicial branches.
So our system isn't just about three separate branches doing their own thing.
Not at all. It's about interdependence. Each branch has specific powers, yes, but also the ability to check the power of the others.
Like the president vetoing legislation from Congress?
Or Congress impeaching the president or judges.
Or the Supreme Court declaring laws unconstitutional?
Exactly. This intricate dance of checks and balances, it isn't just about stopping power. It's about forcing deliberation, forcing compromise, and preventing any single faction or individual from dominating.
A direct descendant of Roman Republican ingenuity.
Without a doubt.
Okay, so beyond these specific governmental structures from Greece and Rome, our deep dive also uncovers this profound, maybe often overlooked, influence from the Judeo-Christian tradition. This shaped not just laws, but the very values underpinning the whole system. We're talking fundamental ethical ideas here, right? A different kind of foundation.
Absolutely, a crucial layer. While Greece and Rome provided structural blueprints and political mechanics, the Judeo-Christian tradition contributed significantly to the ethical and moral framework. Our sources really highlight key ethical ideas: justice, individual worth, personal responsibility.
Justice meaning more than just legal fairness.
Yes, it includes moral rectitude, upholding what's inherently right, protecting the vulnerable, that sort of thing.
And individual worth. That sounds foundational for rights.
It really is. Deeply rooted in the belief that every person possesses inherent dignity and value. It provided a powerful basis for later ideas of inherent human rights. That was quite a radical notion in antiquity.
The personal responsibility.
The idea that individuals are accountable for their actions and choices. That fosters a society of self-governing citizens capable of using their freedoms wisely.
And the rule of law comes up again here too.
Yes, but reinforced here with a profound moral dimension. The implication is that laws should align with higher ethical principles, not just be about practical order.
Okay, but this raises a really important question. How do these deep-seated ethical, moral ideas, how do they actually translate into governmental principles? That seems like a big leap from abstract morality to the concrete mechanics of governing.
It's a crucial connection, and often underestimated. These moral frameworks didn't just hang in the air. They provided a bedrock, a foundation for principles like equality before the law, and the assertion of inherent human rights within the constitutional republic itself. If every individual has inherent worth, then it becomes a governmental imperative to protect those rights and ensure equal treatment under the law.
So the ethics drive the structure, in a way.
They inform it profoundly. The idea of divine justice guides the creation of fair laws and the impartiality of the courts. Personal responsibility supports the whole idea of a free citizenry making moral choices, which is essential for self-governance.
So without these ethical underpinnings,
the robust structures from Greece and Rome could easily become oppressive. The Judeo-Christian tradition arguably provided a moral compass, helping ensure government aimed not just to be efficient, but just.
Okay, so what does this all mean when we bring Greece, Rome, and the Judeo-Christian tradition together? It's clearly not just three separate columns standing there.
No, absolutely not.
How did these diverse streams actually interweave? How did they combine to form America's unique system?
You've really hit the core insight of this deep dive. It's a wonderfully complex, layered foundation, a true synergy.
The framers weren't just picking and choosing.
No, they were synthesizing. Our sources really emphasize this, urging us to, and I quote loosely here, evaluate the influence of ancient Greece's democratic principles on other influences like ancient Rome and the Judeo-Christian tradition, meaning they didn't act in isolation, they influenced each other.
Can you give an example of that synergy?
Sure. Think about the American jury system.
Oh.
In the jury, you clearly see the Greek concept of citizen participation, ordinary people deliberating on justice.
Right, like in Athens.
Then, that idea was refined and formalized by Roman legal tradition, which emphasized codified laws and judicial impartiality, structure, and crucially, it's all buttressed by the Judeo-Christian emphasis on justice, individual dignity, and the right to a fair hearing that mandates protection for every person regardless of their status.
So it's not just three separate ideas lined up.
No, it's a layered defense of individual rights. A truly unique synthesis, one built on top of the other.
That's a fantastic example. It makes you realize just how deeply interwoven these threads really are. Okay, let's try to pull it all together then. If we pick something really concrete in America today, like say the Bill of Rights, How would you dissect its lineage using these three influences?
The Bill of Rights is maybe the most eloquent testament to this interweaving.
Oh, where's the Greek thread, the Roman structure, the Judeo-Christian ethic?
Okay, well, the very idea that citizens possess rights that even the government cannot infringe upon, that strongly resonates with the Judeo-Christian notion of inherent individual worth and dignity.
So that provided the moral imperative.
I think so, yes. The moral imperative for enshrining such protections in the first place.
Okay, then the Roman part.
Then you see the Roman structural influence in how these rights are enforced within a constitutional framework, subject to the rule of law, subject to judicial review, the concept that specific protections need to be formally written down and applied universally.
Like Rome's codified laws.
Exactly. That's a direct inheritance, ensuring consistency in application.
And finally, the Greek democratic spirit.
That comes through powerfully in how these rights facilitate active civic life. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, the right to petition the government.
These aren't just passive protections.
No, they're tools. Tools for citizens to participate, to challenge, to shape their government, echoing the deliberative ideals of the Athenian assembly, even though we use a representative system.
Wow. So the Bill of Rights isn't just one thing. It's this living document born from the meeting point of these three powerful traditions.
Each contributing an indispensable layer to its meaning and its application. It's a fascinating comparison and contrast, isn't it? Between Greek democracy, Roman republicanism, and the U.S. constitutional republic.
Showcasing how each borrowed, adapted, and innovated to create our unique system.
Precisely.
Well, we've certainly journeyed through the dynamic democracies of ancient Greece, the robust republics of Rome, and those profound ethical foundations of the Judeo-Christian tradition.
It's been quite a trip back in time.
And we've truly analyzed the influences of these three major forces on America's constitutional republic, thanks to our deep dive into these rich sources.
And hopefully this deeper understanding of our nation's historical and philosophical roots, it isn't just, academic.
Right, it should mean something more.
It should foster a more active, a more informed citizenship. It encourages you, the listener, to critically think about the principles governing your world.
To move beyond just surface-level understanding.
To really grasp why things are the way they are. So as you reflect on this, maybe consider what aspect of these ancient influences resonates most strongly with you today?
Or which element do you think is most crucial for keeping a constitutional republic vibrant and healthy in our modern era?
Good questions to ponder.
Fantastic food for thought. Keep digging, keep connecting those dots, and keep being brilliantly curious. We'll be back soon with another deep dive.